Sunshine shining, feeling so fine, dancing to the rhythm.
What is happening? I'm from Just Ask. I'm here at Johnny D's. I have not only my last podcast guest, Kyle, but also Miss Naya. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. We'll start with you, mamas.
So I am Naya Massab. I do work for Buffalo Public Schools. I am a supervisor in the Office of DEI, and I am a supervisor of instructional programs for students.
Okay, perfect. We'll dive a little more into that very fancy sentence in a little bit. As we know, Kyle is a financial advisor. Anything else fun and different from our episode that you like to say?
No, not really. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Men are usually, you're pretty simple. You're straightforward.
That's right.
It's what happens.
Well, I would like to know because I did not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what's exciting about this is my first podcast table talk. What I love about my episodes is just the ideas and inspiration that come out of it. Because a lot of the time we have so many ideas, but it's like by the time you actually get them organized in your head, I feel like that happens through talking. So I feel like every time I do an episode, I come out with something new, and that something new was inspiration from you to be like, hey, you ever think about a talk thing? And I'm like, let's make it happen.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so Buffalo Public Schools, you're a supervisor, financial advisor. I'm just a Jane of many trades. I have my Jamaican card specifically from her with everything I do.
Yes.
I'm grandfathered in.
Yes, you absolutely are.
I've known her probably 10 plus years at this point because time is such a blur. And
we
since
love
I've met
sharing
her,
our story.
there's literally
with so many
not an
people,
industry she hasn't seen me through. Relationships, industries.
That's beautiful.
We should
though,
make
you know?
a novela, a
Your resume
movie.
is so long.
It's a book. It's a book at this point. So, okay, we'll start with you, Naya. What is the most surprising or interesting thing you've learned recently, inside or outside of your field? In the sense of, I kind of have a basic idea of what you do as far as like you work with the youth in Buffalo. Is that correct? So, like, what is something that's like kind of interesting to you, or kind of just keeps you interested in what you do?
Well, as far as what I do, so I have to just say that I absolutely love my job. It's very, very rewarding. I've been an educator for over 20 years, and I started out as a TA, and then just worked my way through school as a special educator, and then also going back to school for ENL and also my educational leadership. But I worked with special ed for over 10 years, and I just wanted to do more.
I definitely forgot you used to be a teacher. Holy cow, I
Yes.
really have known you a long time.
Yes.
When she was in school, she forgot about me. I was non-existent, but it's fine. I forgive you. We're here now.
I was focused, and I had my babies, and so all through.
Brand new baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
To
you.
a point. No, I'm kidding.
Seriously. Thank you. Thank you. 2 months.
Like,
yesterday.
brand new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm in the trenches.
Okay, like no sleep.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
You
why I
know.
need that drink.
She
That
knows.
sit back.
I don't miss that. Okay, I'm gonna go and share some stuff that I do
Right,
like
okay.
that, but I don't miss that part. But my job is very, very rewarding. So although I'm not in the classroom anymore, I'm able to serve children in a different capacity, and I'm still able to work with students even though I'm at City Hall, doing some of the larger work, right, where I'm reaching more students, but I still am able to work closely with students, and so I have a nice balance of doing the admin work, but also still being able to like touch kids, like be with kids, and their energy, and I'm constantly learning new things and keeping up
You're
with
still a
like
kid
the
at heart.
trends,
Right,
and
right.
no, but honestly, they really do give me energy, the youth, and I know a lot of times like our older generations, we look at the younger generations and we say, oh my gosh. We like kind of like worry for them, right? And we think they're just like a mess, but oh my gosh, their minds, their thoughts, their feelings are, and what they talk to you about is so genuine and it's so
It almost reminds you, like, kind of when your mindset was like that almost, kind of brings you back there. Now, I think that's the nice thing too about like seeing just a little bit about what you do. For me, I always love a job that kind of requires field work, if you will. You would probably say yours kind of involves like field work as well too, right? Because you kind of got to get out there.
Yep, I'm like constantly in the streets. Not like that, but you know, in order to impact people, I gotta show face. So
Yeah.
I gotta be outside. I gotta be in the community. So, yeah.
And I think it takes definitely takes a certain kind of mindset, like patience and just an understanding of what that entails. Because a lot of the time, like people, it's like yours is kind of sales, but not just because it's like you're not really selling a product rather than like a service that people actually need. So I feel like still the challenge in that is stringing people in long enough for them to listen to what you actually offer. And it's not like, hey, buy this, and then that's it. But I think like I myself over like the past few months have understood like getting out, like she always used to be called a social butterfly.
I still get
And she is. And I'm like, I'm like, God, I said, she is really so outgoing. And I'm like, I always say, like, I like people, but I don't. And, like, I'm sociable. When my battery turns off, I'm like, I'm out. We've been on the dance floor a couple times, and I'm like, I gotta go.
an extrovert, introvert. It's still possible.
Yeah. And listen, like, we'll be out. It'll be a good song. I got my dance therapy on, and I'm like, okay, bedtime. Bye, girl. Like, straight up.
That's me.
Turns off, and I'm
Irish
like,
goodbye.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So, but like with that being said, like now I'm in this phase of, I know I have good ideas. The industries that I'm choosing to be in, I have to show face and be out. But it's also, this in itself is kind of an exercise to do the things that make us nervous.
Right.
Can I just take a moment to tell you like how proud I am of you, and how like courageous and brave it is to do this type of thing, like podcasts, to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, the way you do, and not a lot of people do that. So I do have to want to tell you how proud I am of you, and I think it's very bold and it's very brave.
And you're, not to cut in, but you're also such a people connector. Like, it's amazing that you brought us two together to have this conversation with you. So you should take that away with you. Like, you have so many skills and talents that I can just see you flourishing. So, like you already are now.
And and that's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that's what I'm starting to discover. Like I said, just when I do my, like, and I'll probably, like I said, you and I will probably do like a one-on-one episode at one point. But I feel like a lot of people come in and it's like right to it. I like to have a little conversation before and then like a conclusion conversation, because everything's so hustle and bustle. Y'all got kids, so you really know more than me. You know, everything's so rush. And I feel like, with that being said, you have to create these like little happy places, even if it's 10 minutes, half hour, whatever the case is. So I like to talk to them after, because it's not like, okay, bye, you know, I used you for what I need you to. And sadly, I think that's rare these days, but it's very appreciated, you know, when people experience it. And I think I have found a comfort and strength in utilizing that as a talent and a strength, in the sense of, hey, I might not be able to help you with this, but I know somebody who can. And you can just build off of it. Like right now I'm in a restaurant that I was doing marketing for with my podcast. But that's like how my brain works. And all I want to like, what I like doing for people is creating a vision and helping them believe that they can do it. Because a lot of people I feel like have ideas and then it's just like they never do them, or like they never get to them, you know?
I can attest to that.
Yeah, and I feel
because
like,
you encourage me to step out of my box all the time.
But I feel like that's what you do in your industry now, and I like your journey, because it's like you started out with teaching, you know, so you were in it, you know what I mean, with the kids. Yeah.
Like I was
You were a teacher, girl. Okay, close enough. And it's just like, so to be where you are now is kind of like, that's what the youth needs. The youth needs people like you that you're young, you're starting families, but you're still in your careers. You love your job, you enjoy your job, and now you're teaching younger generations, hey, this is what you can do. You know, so it's just like really summed up, it's just like that quality time, that undivided attention. You know, kids are troubled these days, probably troubled now more than ever, you know. We were troubled, but we were, go to your room, you know, we just.
It's a different time.
It was. I'm a little grateful because we're not as sensitive, but.
That's a whole nother, that could be a whole nother conversation.
We'd be here an hour. But, you know, I think then it just becomes how you approach it, you know, and then kind of just our generations adapting to the new ones and like, okay, how can we, you know, make this work, or give them a vision or encourage them. And I think there's so much importance in that. So it's honestly like in your industry like yours, like finances, you know, even all of us at our table, our cultures, finances is not like top tier for us. We weren't really educated on it, you know, even in our upbringing. So it's just like how have you changed that, you know, for yourself, for your older generations, for your future generations?
I love that question. I will say that the biggest reason why I'm doing what I do is because I didn't come from money. I didn't come from, silver spoon in the mouth.
Right.
So I know what the struggle feels like, right? My whole life has been like a constant like battle, it feels like.
A race.
Steady uphill, but thank God that he's brought me through that because I'm at a point now where I can, bring the younger generations and bring them up with me, right?
Yeah.
So I have that vision of just like bringing out everybody that I love and care about, my community, and we all grow up and glow up together. So, yeah.
And and like I said, a lot of the time when I meet new people, he found me through LinkedIn. By the way, after you started it, do you know how many LinkedIn connections and requests I get on a weekly basis now?
That's clients. That's business. That's
I mean, looking at it, I'm like, Oregon, sure, why not? Utah, you never
Pay
know.
attention to my LinkedIn.
Get on LinkedIn.
No, I'm not.
You.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. And there was like another guy who requested me. He has a credit union on Elmwood. I got an account there now. You know, now I'm gonna inquire with him about a business. Business information for my boss. Now that he's expanding the second office, and that's why I say like, you've been like this forever. Connect always out. But I'm sure that's brought you so many connections over time. And I could say now I genuinely underestimated the power of, hey, let's get a drink, let's talk. Oh, this is my friend so and so. Now you're like. In a board meeting.
Yeah.
100%, because I know sometimes we think like, oh, we're going out and like we're just going out to have a good time sometimes, right? And so that the space that you're going to is not necessarily set up to make these connections and networking, because you know your places for like I'm going here to network, I'm going here to connect with people, but there's other places that you go that you don't plan on that, but then you do. And so, and kind of what you're saying with as far as the community and embracing the community in that way, that's a big part of what I do too. Is bringing in people from the Western New York community, and especially people that look like Black and brown. Yeah. Successful people, in our community, and bringing them in to talk to my kids, we do a lot of mentoring and leadership. And so when I talk to somebody who's doing something fantastic in the community, and if I can find a way to say, hey, like, so for instance, you're in banking, and so our kids need, financial literacy.
Financial advisor, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So how can I when can I bring you, or even in what space, like what program can I bring you in to be able to speak to our kids, or even provide a little workshop? Well, because that's important.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, like, God, I probably didn't know what a 401k was until like my 20s. Yeah. But then it's like our parents, like, they just didn't know what it was. You couldn't fault them. That's you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just
they know what they know.
Like, exactly, and what they're taught. Right. And like I told him on our episode, I said, I think my favorite thing about, the generation now is that we're willing to kind of get out there, get to know the information, educate ourselves. And even to your point of, we kind of forget, like, CEOs go out to dance and for a drink. You know what I mean? Like, business people, corporate America, they do go out. And like, I'm one of those people, listen, you can see my third shot of tequila in my hand. I'm like, yeah. Next thing you know, business. Okay, so I'm the owner of so-and-so company. What can I offer you? You know what I mean? Like, listen.
That's right.
So it's like when you love what you do, when you are in your niche of like the business that you're good at, it almost gives you this superpower of like, this is what I'm good at. I know I can do it, and it doesn't matter where I'm at or what I'm doing. But if you need to snap back, that's like that balance of it. You know what I mean? Right. And then I genuinely feel like that's what doesn't make it feel like work. Right.
100%.
I love that you brought that up too, because so I used to be in the military. I was in the Air Force for about 3.5 years, and military, they party and they drink hard, right? So
I gotta imagine.
Obviously we don't know when our last day is going to be, so we're just getting after it, right? But I will say, now being in the white collar industry, it's so interesting because these guys are drinking more than the military guys, and I'm like, holy crap, like, this is a whole different ballgame. I'm drinking with somebody who's worth, not to I don't know, think of them that way, but they're worth multi-million dollars.
Yeah.
We're just sipping, scotches and drinks back together. And it's like, okay, like I'm starting to see both sides.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's been very interesting. So.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to figure too. I mean, like all of us, we have such a high level of stress. Where like sometimes, yeah, I can sit at home, with my dog and watching TV, and then it's like, yeah, give me something straight up on the rocks because, oof, you know what I mean. So it's like knowing yourself, understanding that balance. You can imagine like the stress that those corporate jobs come from. That is their release. So I always say, when you see me out acting a fool. Being bubbly, goofy, dancing because
You're living life and
you know how I be. Listen, don't ever get it twisted because there's about 6 personalities in here. We might have added another one since I walked in. But I will always be professional. But there's always a time and place. So when I let loose, don't be judging me. Don't be judging me, okay?
Ain't no judgment here. Ain't no judgment.
You should not.
So we'll ask you first. If you could relate an area in life where you feel like your career maybe either makes a difference or pours into like your personal life in a positive way, what would that be?
Not to be like cheesy, but since like starting what I do, this is a whole different conversation about my backstory of like how I came to here.
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
The uphill battle didn't seem so much like an uphill battle anymore. And I still had, problems my first 6 months in doing this, and where I'm like, I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking about the long term, and I'm like, I can really change my kids' life, my family's life, and everybody around me if I don't quit, and I don't want to quit on this. So as far as the areas of improvement because of what I do, everything, all the conversation that I have, it's immediately going back to, hey, like, do you have a plan? And in a wholesome way, not more of a way where I'm trying to get clients.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, let's make sure that you're protected and that you're on track. So I would say in anything I do.
And I think that's one of the things that I admire about you, because like since I've met you, like I'm real big on energy. I can read a person in probably the first 5 minutes and figure out if they're full of crap or not. Like it's just facts. And I think it's so great to have the energy and aura that you have in your industry, just because like finances are so intimidating already. Like nobody wants to talk to that, talk about them. Nobody's really like, hey, I'm ready to set up my 401k. I have $50 to my name right now, but like, let's make this, so like, and that's what I'm saying. Like this platform is to talk about those things that aren't talked about enough. I'm doing way better financially than I was probably like a year ago. Am I where I need to be or want to be? Absolutely not. But any progress is progress. But I do realize the more that I became comfortable addressing, the minimal balance in front of my face, you kind of sit there and realize, okay, I'm an adult. Let me put some, attention to this and, kind of focus on it. And I haven't worked with you yet for like finances for myself personally, but I would feel really comfortable with you, just in the sense of you take the edge off, and I think that's so important in these industries where it's just like, and even for you with like kids, kids are really defensive until they feel comfortable enough to trust you or like, can I open up to you?
The older ones.
Yeah, because you figure like and you have children of your own in those ages, so it's like when they get to these teen years where like, they have their attitude. They know who they are. They don't need nobody. They don't need any help. It's even like that much harder. So it's like things like that I could imagine is, what fuels your everyday life. And I think a lot of the time people cancel out that it doesn't matter. You could have a dream job. And there's still always going to be pros and cons, but it's literally, what's your perspective going to be? How are you going to switch your mindset like you did, where how can I help this in my community, in my everyday life? And bringing people with you. Like, that's beautiful, because like not a lot of people think that way. Everybody wants to just get to the top by themselves, and then it's like, okay, I don't, I'm above you now. And I don't really think it should be that way. Like, I'm real big on bringing people with me too. Now, if you want to stay where you are and you become dead weight, I got to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's like a fine line of knowing and understanding that. But same question for you. How would it relate, in your daily life? I mean, and you have children, yeah. And you have children of similar ages, so.
Yeah, in my career, in my daily life, how would I answer that? I do a lot of delegating. as a supervisor, I do have to supervise teachers and not only, students when they are with me, but, you know, I guess, I'm the first. I'm the first of my family, and I'm the always considered responsible one. So taking charge and taking lead has always,
You're kind of in the same boat, right? Yeah, same boat. I like that.
Been something that I'm used to. And I mean, there's times when I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you do it all the time, when you're doing it all the time. But in my daily life, I mean, that's just what I do on a day-to-day. How it kind of rolls over into like my personal is, I think probably the same way. Like I plan events. I if it's
You do
looking
it
at
all to a point.
like I'm still doing some of those leadership things and delegating and stuff, and it does translate into my personal life. And I do some community work as well, with Buffalo Urban League and also with Buffalo. And so, taking on those types of jobs, and being able to execute them, whether it's organizing. I'm a type A personality, so I'm very, So
I'm usually type A, but I have to calm her down, so that says a lot.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Right. Okay.
Kind of like, because that says a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I think
okay.
sometimes it's like letting go of like the control, right?
It's hard.
But it's not a bad thing, because like so many of those things, and I've personally been to like some of the Urban League and Buffalo events, and in those and this is like a big thing too. Don't change who you are. I think it's just a matter of learning who you are and learning to channel and use those things when they are purposeful and needed. Because in those cases, it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like those are good things. And then there's times where like, yo, you can relax.
No, trust me. There are times when I do want to like back off and not necessarily be in the lead. You know what I mean? And then be one of the people that is just kind of like that's taking.
And that's learning yourself.
Yeah. Right. But for the most part, because I do it, my 9 to 4, in other capacities of just being in charge and like being in control. Sometimes I have to be able to learn to do better at switching it off in other instances and just take more of a backseat and let some of
And like I said, there's nothing that's definitely like part of learning yourself. I had to have learned that lesson myself, in the sense where I'm like, and then like I said, when I started doing my podcast, I'm like, okay, this ain't gotta be so perfect. This is where I let loose. This is where I don't perfect.
that.
right.
I struggle with perfectionism.
Listen,
Very long time.
I still struggle with it,
And I
but it's
almost
channeling.
pride myself on it.
Yeah.
But if you continue to like just read up on the research, it's actually like a negative thing.
Yeah, but and that's what I say. Like a lot, like society or like people who don't really like understand what's. Oh my God, like just relax. Listen, some of us can't just relax. Like I got OCD, I got anxiety, I like things a certain way. Like this got to be this and that. It's how we are. But I think it's just a matter of, like you said, getting to know yourself, learning to channel it. Disciplining, having that balance and discipline to switch it on and off is probably one of the biggest challenges. I would like to say like. I don't know, maybe I'm bipolar sometimes. I'm Latina. It comes naturally. It's fine. But that helps me like, okay, I'm this person right now. Okay, I need to be this person. Okay, I could be this person.
Right.
And like I said, but it's kind of like a beautiful thing in the sense of like, it helps you get to know yourself. So it's like,
Self-awareness. Self-awareness is really, really important. I think as we get older, we pay more attention, but
and it's not a bad thing. What's your flaws, Kyle? Sitting all over there, all perfect.
I was just gonna say, like, literally, I F up everything, so it's okay. Like, I have anxiety, ADHD. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't get a lot of things done perfect. So it's like I'm always upset of like the final thing. So just never feeling satisfied is like a big thing.
And
for me.
I'm gonna preach
it's
for a
not
minute.
good.
I'm gonna preach for a minute because.
Oh, you're gonna preach.
Listen, we're gonna preach because this is satisfying to me right now. Okay, just ask Emery. What's your podcast? My podcast is authentic, truthful, and the topics that we don't speak about enough. All three of us at this table. I ain't diagnosed yet, but I probably most definitely could. It's either ADHD, a genius, or I don't know what else. But like you know what I'm saying. And this is what I'm talking about. Like everybody is so stuck on picture perfect, living our best life. We all got it together. No, the hell we don't. No, we don't. We struggle with things. We have flaws. We have imperfections, even though we try to perfect everything.
Social media doesn't help.
It does not. I'll tell you right now, the only reason I got social media, and before my business profiles, my dog had a profile because that's how antisocial I want it to be. Because I say, y'all just nosy. You want to see how I'm doing? Why don't you text me?
Right.
But with that being said, I struggle with all the above that you listed. And I love sharing my experience, helping my community, because mental health is an underestimated thing. I'm a personal assistant at a therapy office by day. So I know all about it. I don't talk on stuff that I haven't experienced, been through, or know about. The things that we should, yes, we like to be in control. We have OCD, we have perfectionists, we have anxiety. We know the things that calm us, but they can't always. So I think the most important thing about that is knowing who you are, tuning out the outside noise that isn't going to necessarily pour into you positively in the way that it needs to, and being comfortable enough to either say yes or no to what you know will benefit you and work for you or not. And if it does not, do not feel guilty. And if you have to tell a person no, do not take responsibility for what their feelings are after you say no, because nobody is expecting you to take that responsibility. I can't swear, because I got Jesus in my life, so we're going to keep it holy. But F that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's such a big thing. And like, I've lost, friendships, or people, oh, it's the way you say things. If it is the truth at the end of the day, I ain't sugarcoating anything. We use adobo up in here. Because if it's the truth, I got to give it to you whether you like it or not. And same goes for me. Whether it's friendships, relationships, at work. If you have something that's going to benefit somebody, even if it leaves them salty in the moment, but then they'll come around and understand how beneficial it actually is to their next step of growth. Stop holding back. Stop holding back. And yes, there is a way to say things. You can say it with love and you can say it caring. But some things are just going to be harsh and you have to just say it exactly how it is. So finances. It's going to be some ugly stuff that you don't want to hear about in your industry. These kids and their teens, they're troubled at home. They're going into an adult age where, you got to figure out what you're going to do. Because it's either you can make a path for yourself or you're probably going to end up in the streets. You know what I mean? So like that's what I want to build my platform on, is the topics that we don't speak on enough. And we got to speak on them. Our cultures especially, we need to speak on this stuff because it's not only business. It goes deep. It starts with business. It starts with these surface relationships, but it does end up going deeper. Mm-hmm. What are you going to say?
And I want to piggyback onto that because just to go along with what you do in the sense of finances and even like mental health, like I'm just thinking about my own upbringing, where it was like, you do as I say, right? You don't really, parents didn't explain, I didn't have, anyone telling me, again, about saving and about, doing all these things. And same thing, mental health. Like, we didn't talk about feelings.
Yeah. And how much stress
we didn't talk about really feelings.
Is. Yeah.
Like, feelings, what are those? You know what I mean? So, I grew up in a very traditional, strict Jamaican household by my grandparents. And so, again, there were none of these conversations. Right. And sometimes there was even, a lack of affection.
Yeah.
And I'm just being straight up and honest. Yeah. And so, I do think it's important for our younger, generations to be educated and have conversations. We have to have these conversations. I do think that they should take place in the home, certain conversations. Absolutely. Yeah. But again, how can we bring you in to talk to kids about things that they are just...
But even what you just said, think about it. They should take place at home. They didn't take place in your home, mine, and probably not yours. Mm-hmm. So that's a perfect example of something that neither of us can control. So since we have to accept, that's another thing, is accepting the things that we cannot control, being okay with it, and finding another way to exercise that control that we need for satisfaction. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we couldn't have those conversations at home, but what did we do? We found somewhere to do it. So I think a lot of the time it's simplifying what you can do and create without overcomplicating it and necessarily putting it in people's face, where If they see it, they see it. And if they don't, that's not necessarily in your control. So if it's setting up a workshop, if it's setting up something, you know, in your schools or for your children, at least now you're providing them the information, and what they do with it is their responsibility. So it's those sorts of things that really pace your energy and what you invest into putting into it, because it's like, you can't save the world. You can sit here and help a person from step 1 through 9, but that's the last 10th step, it has to come from them. So as a community, as entrepreneurs, with collaboration, I feel like the best responsibility we can have is, how can we work together to create this influence and inspiration for others in such a powerful way that it captures their attention, and now they want to learn. Now they want to come see you. Now they want to listen to us. You know, and I think I got to come at the perfectionist side of things. If people didn't try to perfect things so much, we would actually effectively and proactively be creating and doing more for our community, for our younger generations. Because no matter what you do, it's never going to be perfect. You're always going to find a flaw. You're always going to find something that you could have done better. Absolutely, and absolutely. But there's also the fine line of, when I started this podcast, I didn't have a room to record in, but I said, listen, God, oh, I work in a therapy office that I help design. Oh, you have an extra office. Hey, boss, is it okay if I use your room? Boom. You know what I mean? Connections. Hey, we're at Johnny D's restaurant. I'm doing this in the back private room. They host beautiful private events. All you need to do is sit in a place, talk, bring awareness, and let the rest work for itself. And I know it sounds easy, but like, what if it could be that easy?
Right.
You know what I mean? So though, like, it is, and it's like there's still a time and a place for overthinking, because sometimes you need that attention. For you, when you're dealing with people's finances, you're not just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, that looks good. Sure, go ahead. You know what I mean? So it's like, I never want to frown upon these what we call flaws, because there is a good purpose for them at the right time and place. You know what I mean? So that's like another thing to where it's just like, oh my God, you're so this and then this. But guess what? It will benefit if you were, you know, in a certain situation, and hey, now it can help, you know. So with that being said, I love how this has flowed, and even though it's different industries, you know, everything relates. Business is in everything. Mental health is in everything. In our upbringing, the stresses of finances, the stresses of mental health, talking about feelings was so underestimated, but here we are, we made it. How can we improve?
Right.
You know, like, what can we do to like make it better? So like, with that being said, I liked your suggestion of open discussion. We can start off with the question of, between both of you, everything we discussed, how do you balance that between like the business life, the personal life, and for you two now having kids? How does that all come together? How do you balance it? How do you stay sane?
I know my answer, but go ahead.
So I'm still here. I'll say this. So,
Liquor. No, I'm kidding.
No, seriously. So
It's like, seriously.
growing up, I've always thought that balance was a thing, and now my mindset has changed. I don't necessarily believe in a balance, because you can't be in two places at once, right? So my whole thing now is being present where my feet are. So that means being 100% intentional with you guys, having this amazing conversation. Once I leave this area, once I'm in my car, time to decompress. But once I'm back in that apartment with my kid, with my girl, it's full on them. So I guess you can call that a balance in a way, right? But no, I'm not balancing all these things at once.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just going to take it one thing at a time. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's good, and I love everything about that, because that is reality. That's reality. You can't do it all at once. It's impossible, and the part of being present, that and like outside of the social media thing, is so important. Be present where you are, time management, respect who you're around, respect their time, because if people are carving time out for you, the least you can do is like be present. So I think that's a perfect definition of the thing we have to call balance in this thing we call life. How about you, Mama?
Well, you touched on it earlier when you said the ability to say no. And I will tell you that personally, it's something that I struggled with for quite some time.
I can attest to that.
And sometimes, you know, like taking on a lot. And so recently just becoming, again, being self-aware, right? Like you say yes. And sometimes I'm volunteering myself without even being asked. And it's like, you know, and it's crazy, right? Right. And it's like, wait, hold on, Naya. Wait. Why did you say yes? Right? You get to that point.
Why did you
like,
offer?
Right. Why did I right? Why did you like offer up yourself for that? But like I'm just trying to, as far as this, this balance, and just trying to be more mindful and taking a moment and saying, oh wait, okay, can I actually do this?
Yes.
And how does that fit in with all these other things that I'm doing? And can I really do it, again, without stressing myself out? Because it really shouldn't be, right? Exactly. I shouldn't be saying yes to things that especially if they're not my priorities, right? Like it's not like I have to do that. Mm-hmm. So for me, recently it's just been being more mindful and discerning when I need to say no to certain things, just because I need to take more time for myself, and because even if I'm not doing anything at that time, well, what does my whole entire week look like? Okay, no, I need to have some time for myself. And even though that time is empty, no.
You don't have to necessarily
I don't have to fill it.
That's right.
I think that's an absolutely perfect note to end on, because I have needed to learn that myself with all the things I have going on. And I think there's an importance of that. Number one, don't feel guilty for that. But also too, like I've learned not to look so far ahead, which has actually like lessened my, controlling or stress of, trying to have everything perfect. But I think it's okay to look just far enough ahead in those cases of, hey, can I actually do this? Does this fit in my schedule? And if I have to say no, that's okay. And if there is that little bit of empty time, I'm most likely going to need that to decompress for myself, something self-care, something that's going to be good for myself, and I don't think there's enough of that going on, which causes less importance in the mental health. And at the end of the day, mental health is so important. If your mental is not good, eventually your physical is not going to be good. Then your emotional, then your spiritual, if that's something that you work on. So that is that is very, very, very important. Don't feel guilty about that. And it's the same way we get paid and we're giving majority of our money away to bills, you should be either giving yourself a little something or treating yourself to something within reason. Because I said, we're putting in all these hours, and what are we doing for ourselves? So that's absolutely perfect. But thank you, Naya.
Absolutely. I love this.
Yes, thank you,
awesome.
Kyle. Thank you to
for
both of
having
you
me.
for joining me. I don't think I could have asked for a better pair for my first podcast table talk. So please, I know.
Seriously.
I will. I'll say true that. This is my day one, girl. She straight up walked up to me when I was out dancing by myself and say, "Hey, girl." 10 years later, here we are, still friends.
Come on.
Yeah, and 10 years more for us,
No, seriously.
and whenever we have a client. So this is Kyle, he's a financial advisor. This is Naya, she is a supervisor for the Buffalo Public Schools. And I'm sure, and I'm sure you're not opposed to any, between both of you or anybody who's watching, whether it's workshops, whether it's collaborating, connecting, spreading awareness, and just education to any topic that we just talked about, because they are equally important. But you heard it here. Yes. Go ahead, Mama. Absolutely.
Yes. And so I want to say, if anyone who's watching, if you feel like there is an opportunity to be able to talk to our students, whether it's on a mentoring or leadership development or bringing in a workshop that you feel like our students can benefit from, then contact Emily.
Yes, and that's actually perfect. So word of mouth, networking, Facebook. Somebody reached out, they needed a venue. I responded with Johnny D's. We have Tamika, who is actually going to be one of my next podcast episodes. She is a coach, mentor, and entrepreneur, and I'm sure many more things. She is actually doing a etiquette class right here at Johnny D's, and etiquette is amazing for youth. It teach so it teach. Yeah, so those sorts of things. So stay tuned. Please continue to subscribe. Any episodes that you have seen, if there's anybody you want to connect with or reach out, it is no bother. I would be happy to connect you with them. So just ask them.
Awesome.